Hello, everybody. This is the second. How's everyone doing today? Oh yeah, hey, you guys, them guys, all the guys. Yeah. So this is second episode of the Happy Hour. We are talking today about accessibility and vision in games, and also exploits, cheating, and hacks. We are joined today again by TheWillTom and the Youngestsumo. And for the first time, Pharius. Oh, he was here. He was just a little silent last time, but now he's a talking whole person today. And also the new soups. So thanks everybody for joining again today. How's everybody? Yeah. Hello, friends are low. Oh, turning up everybody. Do they?
My opinions are more important.
Oh,
Just across the board.
we can't hear that. You still can't hear the guests?
Oh, can't hear them at all.
Oh.
I see how it is.
Shush, 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 shush. Why not? Yeah, you know how it is.
Every single time. Every single time.
Audio's the worst thing on the planet.
Like this was working yesterday, I swear. Haven't touched anything.
Oh no. Let's go.
Deleting itself
There
in
it
all of
is.
my.
Love
It's so
that.
annoying every
Everyone
time.
good now?
Hello?
Check.
I can
Hello?
hear you. There's a
Hey.
voice.
And so I think you can hear it now. I think we're good.
So like
Yeah, you got it.
so when it comes to my
Yes.
microphone, I have like two different ones. It's like HyperX blah 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 and HyperX blah blah blah. So it just was on the wrong one. Stupid.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I do that all the time. I pick HyperX blah blah blah
It's like
over HyperX
HyperX.
blah blah blah.
Yeah, I
all
mean,
the time.
My favorite is the blah blah blah.
Yeah.
see this is what we're doing already, huh? First we're making fun of me. Now we're gonna say that my opinions are second rate. Gosh, starts.
I didn't
they
just say
didn't
that your opinions were second.
Oh.
I mean, I didn't
Said
hear any
everyone.
of that. Like, they just heard your
Mine.
end of that. So.
But welcome everybody. Okay, we are doing. Let's start off with vision and accessibility.
Yeah.
So basically, what I think of when I think of the vision versus accessibility debate is like the most prime example is like a Dark Souls. I don't like in the difficulty. So I don't necessarily think accessibility, the debate is over anything about like um, disabilities or impairment or anything like that, where we need more peripherals to help people be able to play games. Like I don't think that's the debate at all. I think that kind of accessibility is something that most people agree with across the board. And so that is not what I think this debate is over. If you guys think otherwise, let me know. But so I think games should be able to do whatever they want with their vision. Like I don't think accessibility should play a factor. Shimo's getting haunted already.
Yeah, there's a ghost.
Yeah,
But...
it's weird. The light bulb has been going out, but it's not that light that went out, so I don't know what's going on.
Spirits are coming.
Spirits are. We were just talking about this, but
This topic is hot with the spirits. The undead are very upset about their accessibility right now. Can't even touch controllers.
Nope, no. By what
Air
this
trigger.
time? Oh.
The-
So like vision. So like let's take Dark Souls just because it's the most prime example. Like I think they shouldn't have to uh make a game easier just because people want them to, or they're shamed into it, or people are upset that they can't play the game. I just don't think every game is for every person. Yeah, just like not
Right.
every movie is for every person or any other type of media. It's not for everybody. So I don't think studios should have to fall in line with do this so that more people can play if they don't want to. So that's kind of what my take on that is. But I'll open up the floor and you guys can just kind of go at it.
um, Yeah, so personally, I think that having the accessibility, having the ability of changing the difficulty of a game to either make it more difficult or easier, regardless. I mean, I'm a big Souls fan and everything else, but I think it should be in most games. I think it opens up the floor for most players to be able to play the game and enjoy the same things, even if they can't play it on the same difficulty. When I play a Call of Duty campaign, I'm never going to play it on the hardest difficulty because I'm not the greatest, so I usually drop it down just to make it a little easier. Um, on that same aspect, I can see where it can really mess with a vision. Like the reason Dark Souls did what they did was because of at the time when Dark Souls had came out, they were competing with Skyrim. They had to take a whole different route on the gameplay, and it was easier to do it that way versus making multiple different difficulties, readjusting the AI per difficulty, and everything else. So it was much easier for them to do it that way. Um, but I'm fully. I mean, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna try to play it on the difficulty they suggest, standard, normal, whatever it may be. I'm not a sadist. I don't like to push myself out on the hardest difficulty.
Nope.
But having that ability for people who first time picking the series up and want to try it out or whatnot, but maybe want to lower the difficulty so they can make it through it, so they don't get discouraged from playing. Fully agreeing with that. Like I'm fine with that.
So along those same lines, I think that there's a important distinction where it's like, what is the intended experience of the game? When you talk about a Souls game, part of the game is the difficulty. But along that same line, there's a very big difference, I think, in I'm very outspoken about how Elden Ring is what Souls games should have been from the start. And this is like, in a lot of ways, Elden Ring is harder than any of the other Dark Souls games were, just numbers wise, boss mechanics wise. Not from the basis of like each individual boss, but like but you have the option to move on and do something else and level up a few times and I'm going to go do this other thing because there's just more content overall for you to go through. And so, as much as like if you were to just try and blast through all the main bosses, which is kind of what the more linear experience of the older Dark Souls games, you just sort of hit a wall at some point and you're like, well, I can't do anything, so you have to keep on just pushing through that boss. And that's where I think like Elden Ring is debatably harder but more accessible at the same time, which I thought was really interesting. But then you have games like God of War where um, you can play, like when I was playing God of War, I'm one of those people who I will pick the hardest difficulty the first time I pick up a game because I'm weird and sweaty. And so when I first picked up God of War, it was like the game is not intended to be played and it's not designed to be this difficult. It's just not. You don't have the visibility to, like, you can't see behind you. Like, you have weird indicators, but they're not super accurate and they're not great. So that's kind of where it's I actually think that most of the games I've experienced that have adjustable difficulties shouldn't have them.
Interesting.
Having one intended experience of the game allows people, like, I've seen people who I never would have thought would pick up a Souls game, myself included, pick up Elden Ring and love it just because of the sheer openness of it. But it's still a Souls game, and it's really, really tough. Some of those bosses are absolutely insane. But you have a lot of people who are able to pick it up and enjoy it despite that fact.
I think that I really respect the vision of a game designer. I do, and I have benefited greatly from games that have adjustable difficulty settings. I am relatively new to gaming. I started like 3 or 4 years ago playing games. And I would pick the normal setting, like the one that they recommend, and almost put it down. This happened with most of the games that I picked up early on. I played Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Witcher 3, um, Mass Effect, Skyrim, God of War, and all of those had a moment where I was frustrated and I felt like I was a bad player. And then my husband was like, "You can turn the difficulty down," which didn't occur to me at any point to turn the difficulty down. And then I did, and after, like, it did like hit my pride weird, but once I like moved past that, it allowed me to play the rest of the game, and I loved that. Um, but I admire developers who set up their game like, this is our game at this difficulty. This is how it's intended to be played. We have designed the game so that it is this hard. That's how we want you to play it. I respect that. I don't think that anyone should have to make the game easier or harder depending on the players. I think that game might just not be for you if that is the case. I did play through Elden Ring multiple times. It's my only Souls game. I loved it. It was very hard, but I had the ability to like build up my skills and strength as I played, which was and I felt like I was getting better. So that was like a very valuable experience. There are other games where I haven't had that same feeling of progression, and I will stop after a while if I don't feel like I'm getting better. It's usually the game would have to be very good for me to keep pushing through, just feeling like I suck, which is why I haven't picked up the other Souls games like the Dark Souls or Bloodborne or anything like that, because I don't think I would enjoy just being constantly reminded that my skill level is not at the level that they intended you to have when you play this game. Um, I don't think that's fun for me, but that doesn't mean that I think they should make it easier. I just won't play the game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I guess how I feel about it is I'd rather a game like be just really what the developers are intending it to be, whether that's kind of easy or kind of hard or somewhere in the middle, and just have that be like the good experience of how you're supposed to play the game. And kind of like some of you said, some games are not for everybody. I think that stinks for some folks, but at the same time, I think that sometimes when games kind of shoehorn in like difficulty settings, they kind of are just really inconsistent, or the hard setting is just so incredibly hard, or the easy setting is so incredibly easy. It really takes away from like what the game actually is, or like how the game is supposed to feel, and what the experience you're supposed to get from it. So I would rather there be just that one experience, no matter what the setting is, that is really teased out and fleshed out and calculated really well, rather than like shoehorning in different difficulties. But at the same time, if they can like take the time to develop those difficulties, I think it is almost like playing two different games. Um, I think so. I I probably out of this card, I play a lot of Nintendo games. That's probably where I spend most of my time. And a game that came out more recently was the newer Kirby game. I see Andrew, you're wearing a Kirby shirt. Um, and Kirby in the Forgotten Land, where the main gameplay was, it's a Kirby game. It's easy. But then you do the extra stuff and it becomes incredibly hard. And that is like a classic Kirby thing in every Kirby game. The main, very easy to complete, really hard to 100%. And I kind of respect that kind of vision. for most things, but I know it's also a lot of work to do that right. Um, Not every studio has Nintendo's resources, so.
True. Yeah, I think again, I think Elden Ring did it really well because they had so many different ways to play the game, and they also had things that you didn't have to use, like the spirits, right? That made the game easier for people, but you didn't have to use it if you wanted to make the game harder. It was something that already incorporated into the vision, into their game that just worked both ways. And like you guys said, I think if games are able to take the time and do both of those things, 100% do that. But at the same time, stay true to yourself and who you are and your vision. Uh, just to put another thing out, like the game Grounded, like they have. So Grounded is your Get Shrunk, basically Honey I Shrunk the Kids, but in your yard, and
Gnome's favorite
they
game.
what?
Gnome's favorite game.
No, I'm
Hands
serious.
down.
But they have an option. There's spiders in the game, and they have like an arachnophobia option, so you can like turn down how realistic the spiders look. So for that kind of thing, like if you are an arachnophobic, then you still might be able to play and enjoy the game, even if. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different options that games can take to help people um, enjoy the game better. So
Yeah, I like that a lot. When I played The Outer Wilds, they had an option. Like the game is very hard, but they had an option to either make it more scary or less scary, depending on like what you could handle. And that was really nice because I played it on the scary version, but I hate being jump scared, and being able to turn that off, like when I watched other people play, was fascinating. Like, oh, I didn't even really know what that would mean if I turned off that setting, and it didn't change the difficulty of the game. It just
hmm
changed, like, your like my preference for enjoying it.
Yeah, I really agree. It's funny that you brought up the jump scare thing because I just seen a horror game that said it has a thing where it pops up and it's like, "Do you want jump scares? Yes or no?" But if you
oh,
click no, it pops with a little box or anything goes. But there's still some jump scares in here, and it's like, so then why'd you give me the option? Like, also,
just not
Do
as
you
many.
want this? No.
Too
Well,
bad.
that sucks.
Yeah. uh,
so with the difficulty thing, um and having a vision of a video game, the way it's designed and whatnot, versus being able to fine tune it or adjust it to a person's preference. um do you think that games that are meant to be gory should keep the gore in, or do you think that they always should have a slider to
mhm.
adjust the amount of gore that's accessible in a or visible in a game?
I like sliders for that. I think that's a nice thing to put in for your players. Um, Although I don't play a bunch of gory games, so I don't know. But I do know I played some games where you could turn up and down the amount of blood. And
Yeah.
sometimes I don't enjoy games that are like really like graphic or realistic when there's like murder happening. Um, and so I can see that being something that I may enjoy. I feel like there's an example that I can't think of, so I'm gonna think about that.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think with the way video games are being developed now, like with UE5 coming out, and I mean the graphics are just gonna get better and better and better, and what they can do with gore and realistic, uh, I don't know, dismemberment and that kind of thing, like that is something that probably would be good to have in games. Just yeah, I guess I just don't see any reason not to include that in games going forward with how realistic things are getting.
Yeah. So there's two sides to that from a development standpoint. Because adding um, adding adjustable elements to games is actually a lot of work.
Mhm.
um, because it's not as simple as percentage sliders. Like you can have percentage sliders for and that's where you see it going wrong. And that's like when you have games like God of War, where the difficulty for God of War was just an over the like across the board percentage slider. And so that's when you really feel it, when the harder enemies, because of the way that percentages work, are so much harder.
Mm.
And vice versa, where it seems like there's, then when you go down to easy, it seems like there's not a whole lot of difference. And I still think that it's better to have that than not have it, simply, especially for story-based narrative games. If someone just wants to hop in and be Kratos and enjoy the story of the game, that then having that easy difficulty there for someone who wants to just enjoy the story, I think is really important. But I think that a lot of games I've found, like, the hard either feels just brutally unforgiving to the point where it's not fun. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn actually did this really, really well with they had like a difficulty setting where everything was like the highest difficulty in Horizon Zero Dawn. Ty was like telling me it's like a whole different game. And playing it feels like you're all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm playing like a survival game almost. um and so there's a lot of different ranges to it, but adding that, I think especially for indie games, there are certain things where it's like um having one difficulty and one intended experience is significantly easier from a development standpoint. Because I've actually been looking into specifically what it would take to have multiple difficulties, and it's tough. You have to basically program in order to make it feel good. You have to pretty much do all of the number crunching from the ground up. But maybe that's also me being a perfectionist and having had experiences where I didn't feel like the difficulty scaling was done well.
Yeah, I think part of what I was trying to say. I completely agree with that. I think when you do it well, you're almost designing like 2 or 3 games within one game, because it's just gonna be such a different experience. And I even think of games where you have more complex AI where like the enemies will interact differently, or
Yeah.
harder difficulties will have new enemies, that sort of thing. So it's it's really hard. I think, yeah.
Say, just to throw in another thing I just thought of is like Soups, you brought up The Witcher 3 earlier, and the playing that game, I played it on normal. The first time I've tried it, I tried to play it like 4 times, and I got 30 hours in. Another game came out. I played something else, and I forgot, so I restarted. I restarted that game like 9 times. I feel like, but anyway, the playing the game, I think actually the intended difficulty is the hard like the nightmare, because there are playing through the game, there's so many like potions and what are the other things called?
The
Things to help you.
oils and
Yeah,
the
the
potions.
oils and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, you don't have to use that on normal. Like, that is something that you don't need to use to beat the game. But I imagine on hard or the harder version, like uh leveling, you would definitely need to plan and make sure you have this oil for this creature or this. So like the intended
Right.
difficulty is harder than the normal. So
That's very interesting. I played through the first part of the game on easy. I was very new to games of that kind. I think I'd only played Assassin's Creed Odyssey at that point. I played through the game on easy, and then at some point I changed it to normal, and I was super into the oils and the potions and everything, and I would like research everything and drink the exact right potion and create all of this stuff. Which Gnome didn't do really any of, and I'm sure he probably played it on hard. I don't know what difficulty he played it on. But it gave me, a little BB like beginner gamer, the tools to beat that game. And there were some in the DLC. There were some bosses that were very hard for me and were very frustrating, and that's on normal difficulty. And
mm,
having the like ability to like boost myself a little bit with like in-game stuff was really great.
So now that you went through and beaten Elden Ring Soups, do you think you could go back to The Witcher and try it all over again and see where your skill level
Oh
would
yeah. I've definitely gotten a lot better. I can tell over the last few years of me playing games.
be? I mean, you're a dominant Elden Ring player, just as good as me. I've seen you lay on plenty PvP bodies after you murdered them. It's true. Murking kids and then just laying on them just to rub a little insult in it.
Oh,
Won't teabag,
no,
but lay
no
on people.
teabagging still, but
No
No
teabagging.
teabagging. No teabagging.
But I will use it as a sleeping bag.
yeah.
Your corpse becomes my pillow kind of thing. So the last accessibility thing that I can think of off the top of my head is one that we had a conversation. Me and Distillery had a conversation the other day about, and it was Call of Duty. So for console, Call of Duty is not allowing a field of view slider. The reason for it being is because old gen, your Xbox Ones and whatnot, PlayStation 4s, when you add a field of view slider evidently in for Call of Duty, it lowers the frame rate of the game, making the game run worse. So their solution was to ban field of view sliders for all console players, but still making that accessible for PC players, even though it's crossplay.
Which is just insane.
I want to know what your guys' thoughts on that is.
Go ahead.
I mean, okay, so when you get right down to it, when you have something that is, if you have a specific console, like this is the same sort of thing with when you go through PC, there are a ton of games that you cannot run just because you don't have the specs for it. The fact that one, they could just optimize their stupid spaghetti code, and I'm sure that would just fix the problem. But COD cannot be bothered to do that. So instead, having just banning across the board, banning all field of view sliders is just insane. Like, people have new consoles. The people who have the old consoles just don't touch the field of view slider, and you won't have the frame rate issue.
Yeah,
Just like, don't do that. I don't know. What?
yeah, you kind of bring up a good point. Like, let them, if they want to slow down their frame rate, let them slow down their frame rate, I guess, and let
Yeah,
everyone.
why do you care?
Yeah, but let everyone else play out the way they want.
Yeah, I just don't
Yeah,
understand.
that was a good point. It's crap. That's what I say.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. But nothing they have done as a company in the past 8 years has made any sense. So
No, I mean, when
I don't
you
know.
get an update, they still make you download 40 gigs, and then they
Every time.
repackage 12 back to you. It's like, oh, we needed that 12, but we'll give it back to you once it's done download. It's like, what are you doing?
Oh my
It
God.
doesn't make any sense.
So,
It's archaic is what it is.
ugh.
I do have one more thing for accessibility, but if anyone else has anything pressing, you're more than welcome.
Nah, hit it, homie.
One of the things that came up for me thinking about difficulty and accessibility in games was my experience as a raider in World of Warcraft. And going back to Wrath of the Lich King, which is where I got my world first kill of the end tier. I was part of the ICC heroic 25-man Lich King kill. And then almost immediately following that, we see, because the overall clear rate for that, even going towards the end of the expansion after they nerfed it by I think 70% across the board,
Jeez.
was still like less than 10%. And so, but for me, like, looking at that, there's a reason why there was for that, there was a normal difficulty for that raid. Plenty of people cleared the normal difficulty, but going forward after that, they completely removed like all one-shot mechanics from the game for like 2 expansions. Like there was like 1 or 2, but they were all super easy to get rid of. Like they were super easy to avoid. It was the first time that we ever saw less than 24-hour world first races where people were clearing whole sets of content in less than a week. And then they were shocked when all of the top world raiders were like, I'm beating the game, and you're still taking over a year to release new expansions and new content, and we're done within a month of
Mhm.
the next year coming out. Like we've got the whole entire raid on farm, and so everybody that I knew quit.
Hmm.
I know nobody from my old guild that are still playing. And there hasn't been a replacement game. There hasn't been someone who was able to make raid content the same way. There just isn't one. So it's really interesting to me from like if someone made an MMO that had that kind of team oriented PvE difficult, like I would love if they cranked up the difficulty for Elden Ring to 11 and added co-op. Like I would never play another game ever, but they haven't.
Yeah, so I definitely played WoW for a while as well, and
Yeah.
I felt that after a while playing it, especially when I got to Mist of Pandaria and stuff, there was just so many easy ways to go like from 0 to like level 70 like in a day. And it was, and I don't know exactly why Blizzard did that, if it was just a money thing where they wanted people to get through the levels quickly so they could level up, or I don't know exactly know what their strategy was there, but it felt a lot of the things that you had to work really hard to earn felt like they were just kind of giving away for free.
Mhm.
And that definitely made the whole game feel very cheap and depressing and just not, for me that's what definitely killed it for me and my friends as well, things didn't feel special anymore, and WoW did a very good job of making things feel very special and unique for a long time, and then it just kind of, I don't know what Blizzard was doing, it went away.
I mean, I could do a full 3 hours of content on how stupid Blizzard is. Like that, like if that was,
I love it.
I could do that in and of itself, but I won't. But that was really interesting to me, and I was curious if anyone else had any sort of MMO experience like that. So, because I felt crazy when I was leaving, I was like, this game is dead because I beat it, and then the new things are easier than the old things, which felt backwards to me.
Yes.
Like people are getting better at your game, and your response is to make everything easier.
And they
What?
made it easier for incoming players, basically.
Yeah.
Made it easier for incoming players and older players. Like I what killed it for me was honestly Cataclysm. We killed um we the hardest boss in that whole expansion was the Spine of Deathwing fight, and it was a healer check. We had probably the best healing core group in the world, and so we got got our world first kill of Spine of Deathwing. It took us about 87 attempts, give or take. It was with high 80s, low 90s. And then the actual last boss of that tier took us half that. And it
Jeez.
was so underwhelming. And like 40 pulls is still a lot, but that is, I spent, that's nowhere near, like we had to have pulled Lich King 1,000, 1,500 times before we even got him into phase 2. Like, and so the polarization of going from that to Cataclysm was just insane. And then it didn't get any better in Mists of Pandaria. I've heard that they got slightly better later, but still nothing to that same degree. Like when they released the end tier of Wrath of the Lich King, it was like when they released it, they were like, we don't actually know how you guys are going to beat this. We don't know. But historically, the players are better than the developers at the game. That's just the truth. So the fact that they were like, we can't like they got it, they had to nerf the fight by like 50% just to make sure that everything worked, and then they buffed it back up and released it. And that kind of development just doesn't exist in MMOs anymore. Everything has to be accessible. To me, it's all overly accessible, and every game that I have played since then has felt like I could even if I don't clear the hardest content, I can give you an exact timeline of when I'll get to it.
So it seems pretty like shooting themselves in the foot, pretty much.
Yeah.
I think
Alright.
that's what makes games like the Souls games so refreshing, is they're just like, here's the difficulty, deal with it. Because I think a lot of games throughout the years focus on like just making themselves overly accessible, like anyone can pick them up, and you really lose a lot of people who want some sort of a challenge. Part of gaming is a challenge, and I think that's a really important part of gaming.
Yeah, I mean, you get, like you said, you gotta make games for all sorts of people. People want to have fun with it. People want to relax. People want to challenge. People want to watch a cinematic. I don't know. Like, there needs to be everything for everybody, but not every. Said that wrong. Damn it!
Off himself in a corner.
I think I do see what you're saying though, like, and one of the biggest things about that is that there's and that's where sort of that sliding difficulty comes in. And you need to, one of the things that I've always believed, and this could be taken as a hot take, so I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' opinions on this. I genuinely, I don't think that everybody should be able to clear all content in a game. I think that the base of a game should be clearable by everyone. Like the core story should be clearable by everyone. But when there is stuff like heroic raiding, like that should be really, really hard. And for even like the average player or whatever, there needs to be something to aspire to in order to motivate like getting better at a game or continuing to make attempts on that one boss that you still haven't killed. And when you serve that kind of stuff up on a platter, they even went as far as in the middle of Cataclysm to add a queue system for raids, so you didn't have to find groups anymore. And there was a special queue difficulty where you were just in a group of 25 randos and you were just zerging the boss and just calling it a day. And so it really takes a lot of the motivation away for me and a lot of players like me to push for that higher difficulty or those lower percentage achievements when you have people who can just press a button and be like, killed Deathwing. Yay. Like, okay.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on that. I've never been one of the people that think, um, everyone deserves a trophy type of thing. Like, uh, And so I think you're right. I think there should be rewards. There should be a limit to everyone's gaming, I guess. Um, the closest thing I can think of is my time playing Destiny. Like there was stuff that I was just not going to be able to complete. And it sucked, but I was okay with it. Like I know like there are better people at the game than I am. There are certain challenges that are meant for like a very well-oiled machine squad of 3 people, like these
Yeah.
guys or 6 or however many was the raiding party for that particular event.
Yeah.
So like,
You
huh?
are you saying that your 3 wasn't a well-oiled machine? Excuse me.
I
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking,
eh,
Mr. Ghost. Turn off the
oh
light if anything,
yeah.
calling my ass out like that.
I mean, we definitely tried
No,
I don't know if they were raids, but the other things, like the nightmare whatevers, what are they called? I don't know. The nightmare difficulty of some event that we just weren't going to be able to beat. Like there were some that we could, and then there were some that we couldn't. And it was a good challenge. It was kind of good to, but yeah, I think certain rewards should be locked behind, and if you beat it, you get that reward. And in like an MMO, you can show it off. Like I know there's like certain
Yeah.
mounts and stuff that you get, and like, oh man, that person did something cool. He beat this thing. So I think that's kind of a special thing
Yeah.
for that person, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you think Elden Ring would be a worse game if there were difficulty settings?
no. I don't think so. I mean, if you play it on the difficulty that it's meant to be played on, I think it'll be just fine.
Yeah, I don't think it would be a worse game. I think I would still, because that's the thing. I think that I would still play it as it was, but I think having the ability to do that, especially for certain bosses, like I still haven't killed Melania.
Yeah, right there with you.
I still haven't done it, and if I could turn the difficulty down just for that boss, I absolutely would.
High five to the people that did kill Melania.
What's that?
Me and Soups over here killing Melania.
Yeah, no,
So
well,
We good
and
yeah,
with them?
and so like and that's
God,
kind of and but going back to it, like I'm also okay with the fact that I haven't. Like that says like, and that for me keeps me playing the game. Like I'm almost ready to go fight her again in my current playthrough, and we'll see how it goes. But like to me, like I'm just like I'm not good enough to beat Melania. I move on.
so with her,
Um,
like with her specifically, it's like I know how to beat her. I know how or
yeah,
like what
I
I should use
watched
to
Soups
beat
do it.
her. Like I know there are the certain strategies to beat her, but like they're not strategies that I'm willing to employ for myself. And so
Yeah.
like I keep trying to find alternate ways or different builds to kill her, and that's
Mhm.
kind of some of the fun in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, the whole accessibility over vision thing, it just comes down, for me, it comes down to I want more people to enjoy the things that I enjoy. I
Yeah.
know that
Mhm.
I can play a game, how the devs developed it and everything else, and really enjoy it, but I know that maybe someone else who's coming in can pick up the game. It may be too difficult for them, or they might be struggling maybe with the bosses of the game or something along those lines. They're having a little bit of, you don't want them to get discouraged from the game though, because
Yeah.
they could hit that first boss and be like, dude, I just can't beat it. I don't know what to do. I've tried. It's just too hard for me. And not being able to enjoy a series or picking up, future games. Because I mean, I've talked to plenty of people where, especially Souls games, they played their first Souls
Yeah.
game and played like 1 or 2 or 3. They tried it. They got to that first boss. That first boss beat them up really, really bad for like an hour, and they dropped it and never picked up another Souls game. They were done.
Mhm.
Um, and I get that some games aren't meant for everybody, but on the same side, I think that with the accessibility of being able to maybe drop it down a little bit or finding other ways to maybe do difficulty instead of just making it, oh, we made all the bosses easier or something like that, those lines. Because a bunch of games have done different things with difficulties too. It's not just always beefing up health or damage or anything like that. Um, but yeah, making those games just a little more accessible for new players to kind of get on board and try them out for the first time, and get a taste for it before they're like, all right, now I'm gonna crank it up to the normal difficulty and see how this goes.
Well, and I think at the end of the day, having difficulty be in settings doesn't take away from anything. Like, you still have whatever the intended normal or whatever is. Having easier or harder options just allows for a wider group of people to enjoy it. And it's the same sort of thing where it's like they have the option of doing that. That doesn't mean that you have to choose anything on that side. Allowing for those difficulty changes. I think that all the Souls games should have difficulty settings.
Elden Ring is great because you can explore other places. Bloodborne felt more punishing, like you have to learn how to beat this boss or grind this one hallway to your high enough level.
I mean, that's why I never beat any of the other Souls games except Elden Ring.
I mean, I think Elden Ring does the accessibility thing perfectly, like as is. Like they don't have to add or just take away from anything. It does everything in my mind perfectly.
Yeah, you can get beat up by a boss. It discourages you and everything else, but then you can walk away
Just
from the
go do
boss
something
and go
else.
play
Yeah.
something else and,
Yeah.
and build up the skills to proceed in the game. So, and that's what I mean. Like, I think there are different ways to do that, and I think Elden Ring did it really well. I think you're right. That's kind of their way of adjusting it to make it easier for newcomers.
Yeah. I agree. There was no boss except for Melania that I can remember right now that, like, Melania was the one I knew that it wouldn't take me just like getting my health up or getting my damage up. Like, I would actually have to learn how to beat her. But with the other bosses, with a lot of the other bosses, I would go try them out and I would leave and come back when I was stronger. And I loved playing that way. It was awesome. It felt like it was letting me play exactly the way I wanted to. I do not like fighting the same boss over and over and over again. I just don't enjoy that. It was very frustrating to me, especially when I feel like there's no chance for me to get any stronger, that it's all going to come down to my technical skill. But by the time I got to Melania, I was ready and I wanted to fight her, and it took me so many tries to do it, and I would just every day I would come home, or not come home, but I would end my work day and I would sit and fight her over and over and over again until I got frustrated, and then I would stop and try again the next day, and I did it. And, like, I don't know, that was really cool. It was really cool that there was a game like that that allowed me to do that without every boss feeling like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, you Distillery, you had another topic for today. Correct?
We did, but we spent a good 40 minutes on this topic.
We sure did.
Have we exhausted this one? Anybody?
I think so. I went on my whole rant. So I'm good.
Should we save the other topic for next time?
Sure. Do you got anything else fun for us?
Yes. Let's do the 2021 question game. You all know how it works. Wait for it. Go.
Oh shoot, you're just starting.
Oh, I mean, what do you want me to do? You have to guess. There's no.
Do you want to go counterclockwise this time? So we went clockwise last time. Will, you want to start?
I don't know what we're doing.
Game over.
We're doing the 20 questions. Yep. The same thing we did last time at the end.
It was actually Gnome had it right. It was the same game.
Asking me to remember things, bad decision. I don't.
You guys will never guess it. Shit.
So pretty much the way the game works is we're gonna go in a rotation. We'll go counterclockwise. Each individual ask a question, and we'll try to figure out what Distillery's got written down. By the way, it's GoldenEye. So
Yeah. Damn
Okay.
it.
Is it
It's
GoldenEye?
definitely GoldenEye.
God, no, it's not GoldenEye this time. No. I won't count that one. Go ahead. Start us off. Soups.
Oh boy. Did it come out in the last 10 years?
Do you even know what you picked?
No.
If
Like,
you
Oh.
what
need to
year is
Google,
it?
do it.
Yeah. Dang it. I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
Are you sure?
Okay.
Which way are we going?
Weird answer.
You can go next. You can go next.
Okay. Is it an RPG?
No.
Is it multiplayer?
Yes. It is a guessing game.
Is
Hell.
it? You said wait, hold on. Soups. You asked if it was in the last 10 years. What did you say to that?
I said I
I said
don't.
yes.
He said, I'm gonna
You
say
said
yes.
yes.
I'm
And
gonna say no. I'm
He
gonna.
That's what he said. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get a fact check on
So
this
it's
real
about
quick
10 years
before I
ago.
continue? Like this is kind of important.
Around 2010.
Okay. Fine. I'll look something up here.
All right.
Oh no.
Having
Oh, yeah,
no
can
dates
chat
and stuff,
guess?
That's hard.
Yeah, chat can go right ahead.
I think Tracy got it last time, didn't she?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tracy got it last time. Panda Narwhal says because it's clearly Super Smash Brothers.
Which one?
All
Yeah, I
of
was
them
about to say.
smashed in one.
That's why I thought that his answer was so weird.
I think Brawl's like 10 years old.
Okay, so
No.
it is multiplayer. It's not an RPG.
Okay,
It is
so it's
not.
older than 10 years.
Older than
Yeah.
10.
Okay.
Is it a first-person game?
I suppose.
It's a yes or no question. You can't. I mean,
No. No. It's a yes. I'll go yes.
The way you're saying these leaves me with zero confidence.
I love it. I love it.
It's like you're on Jeopardy. You're like, I'm gonna go with W, please.
Maybe.
Can I buy
Maybe a
now?
W.
No.
This is great.
Is it part of a series?
Yes. That's why I said did the last one come within the last 10 years. I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, it's just we're talking about the one you're talking about though, so it can be a part of a series. But I mean, if you've got a singular game in
If you
mind,
haven't picked one, pick one now.
Okay,
yes,
it's
please
done.
don't pick the series.
Yeah, no, I'm not picking the series. I got one. I got one.
All right.
Is it exclusive to a console?
No.
Okay. It's multi-platform.
So it's multiplayer. It's not exclusive to a console. It's not an RPG. It is first person. And it is older than 10 years.
Yes.
Part of the series.
Is it a shooter?
No.
Multiplayer.
10 years, part of a series, multiplayer. The multiplayer parts is what's getting.
And
me.
you said it wasn't an RPG?
Correct.
Oh,
I'm so
shit.
convinced on these answers.
Multiplayer older than 10 years.
You guys will understand once you know the game.
I feel like this is just gonna
Oh,
make
I
me
have a
upset when I know
question.
the game. Um, let's see. Is it a Nintendo product?
I don't think it came out for Nintendo.
So it's not a Nintendo, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I guess it did. Came out on a
Oh my
Wii.
God. Okay. Well, it came out on a Wii. I feel like that really has to narrow it
that
down a little
narrows it
bit.
down a lot.
Well, Wii U, Nintendo
I don't-
DS.
Oh.
Oh, okay. I know. Maybe.
You know?
No, I don't. I have
No. Bring
Like,
the
I have an
confidence
idea,
back.
I have an idea.
Is it?
I-
Is it played during
you-
recess? It's actually Red Rover.
Is it a video game?
Wii Sports. I was. Why didn't I? Because you said RPG.
It's not an
It's
RPG,
not an RPG.
or a shooter.
Or a shooter.
Oh, it's not an RPG.
But it's first person ish.
Okay, I have to think about every game I've ever.
Person?
Person that's not a shooter.
But that's
Is that-
third person, Ika.
Red Rover is the ultimate
Oh,
RPG.
first person. Oh.
Yeah, it is first person.
Yeah, which means you're looking through
uh,
the eyes of the character. So that would be. I'm like trying to like process what would be a first person without it being a shooter. It'd be a walking simulator then, right?
Minecraft. It could be Minecraft.
Ooh.
Is that your guess?
What am I?
No, it
Yeah.
didn't. Minecraft came out on PC first.
But we didn't ask what it came out on first.
No, but
true.
you said it anyway.
Oh.
Said it came out on Wii.
I thought he just.
That was just. He asked if it came out
I
on
thought
Nintendo.
it was just released
yeah.
on Wii.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like
Minecraft didn't
Minecraft
come
is
I
out
don't
on
think
everything
Minecraft is on
ever.
Wii.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
gotcha.
Nah, it's on Wii U. I think.
Oh.
Or it might just be on Switch. But anyway, sorry.
Guys are thinking hard.
Yeah, well, your answers are just really putting us in that spot.
This is my favorite game.
I feel like as
Is
soon as you
it-
say it, I'm gonna get so mad.
Yep, I can
You're
feel it right
you're gonna
now.
understand the way I'm answering though too.
Is it a puzzle game?
No.
Is it a sports game?
No.
Oh, okay.
Need for Speed. Because your answers suck ass.
Is it?
Damn.
If it's Minecraft, I'm gonna be upset. I hope you know that.
It can't be. It literally can't
It could be. Wait, why not?
He said Nintendo DS too.
And it's
Yeah.
not Minecraft isn't part of a series, so.
That's
Correct.
fine.
By the way,
Well, I mean-
it came out on more than just Nintendo, guys.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
Because you said it
Okay.
came out on PC. Too,
Okay.
But if it came on
But
the
the
DS,
fact that
it
it
means
did
it's
come out on Nintendo narrows it down quite a bit because Nintendo doesn't
especially the
actually.
DS.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Nintendo.
Well, I literally cannot think of a single first-person DS game. Not a single one.
I said first person ish.
What the hell
What
is
does that
first person
mean?
is?
Is it like over the shoulder? Like
Because that's
we
not
don't-
first. If you are not looking through the eyes of the character, it is not first person.
If you can see your character, it's third person.
It's not. You can't
Correct.
see. I'm gonna stop.
You can't see.
You can't see at all. You're blindfolded.
It's when the game is just off. It's the blank screen before you start playing.
Plot twist. We're actually. Oh, that's a good question. Actually,
Can you switch
You switch.
between first person and third person?
we're gonna count that as one of our guesses.
No.
No,
No.
I'm fucking lost.
I'm more lost. Yeah.
Yep. Is it... Well, it can't be that.
Just
Mortal
I mean,
Kombat, 'cause
just ask like.
it's got to be a game. It's got to be like a sim or something.
Oh. Ooh, what does a sim count as if you're playing like a tycoon game?
Zoo Tycoon.
Would that'd be second person, right? Is that how
Always
they write
said
this?
Candace.
No, yeah, that'd be a second person, right?
Well,
Are there
What's second
person?
if you
person,
don't believe that
technically?
you're like an
The
omnipotent.
second
like-
person in stories, right? Isn't second person like a
It's
narrator
you.
telling the story,
No.
But that.
or is
so,
that third?
Third.
So that's that is
This is
purely
great.
has to do with your character's viewpoint. If you can see playable character, it's third. If you are playable character, like if you are eyes through, it's first. I don't. Does second person even exist?
Everything's
Genuine
ravioli.
question.
Not in games. I don't think
guess
so.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it would be.
But
I
no-
don't-
So what do you call top-down strategy games then?
Yeah, because that's not a third person
Top-down.
style game.
Is it a
Strategy.
is it a strategy game?
No. You guys are at 12.
I hate this so
I-
much. Is there
This is
cars
great.
involved?
Cars? No. 13.
Honestly, you're just mad because we guessed GoldenEye within like 3 guesses.
Yeah, you don't even have a game, do you?
Oh my god.
I'm trying to think what Andrew would be playing.
It's a long time ago.
So, second person examples. Second person is a point of view that refers to a person or persons being addressed by a writer or speaker. For example, the sentence, you walked across a bridge, uses the second person to say you, for the
Yeah.
reader listening. So
Yeah, I know it
Not
exists
in
in
a game.
storytelling.
there are that I typed it in. There are actual games out here
Zork.
that are
Zork.
second person, but a lot of them are. I'm getting a lot of tabletop games.
No, it's actually tag.
I have zero ideas. Yeah.
I don't know whose turn it is to ask a question.
I don't know.
I think
I
it's
think we threw that
yours.
out the window.
Yeah, you just free for all it if you want.
So they did release GoldenEye for the DS about 10 years ago.
It probably is GoldenEye.
Is it just GoldenEye again?
Ooh.
Claw
Yeah.
says Tetris.
That wasn't my guess.
These answers are the most fitting of answers, Ika. I don't know how else to tell.
I know that I'm gonna rage.
Is it a game made by a major publisher or team
Okay, yeah, I like that.
developer?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
How,
Oh my god, pretty
how
sure.
sure are you?
I'm looking.
Andrew,
Let's go.
In other words, is it an indie game or yeah?
Can we
No,
get
it's
Mrs.
not an indie
Distillery
game.
Games to pick out games from now on? I mean,
So they
Mhm.
were. I'll let you know. They were bought by Activision.
Oh
That is-
no.
yeah, that makes things worse.
Um,
Is it a mobile game? I'm
Is it
just kidding. Don't
Guitar
answer
Hero?
that.
did you hear my question? Is it Guitar Hero?
There it is.
Whoa! What?
All right, guys, that's the stream today.
I mean, how else would you describe it if it's not first person?
You're right, I guess, because you're the Guitar Hero.
Yeah. How else would I mean? There's
Yeah.
It's first person ish, technically.
I hate it here.
At least you didn't do
That's
Rock
because
Band.
who
That's all I
plays
gotta
rhythm
say.
games,
Yeah.
man? Nobody's
Wow.
played a rhythm game in like 10 years.
I think we need to reevaluate our contracts.
You
after
guys,
this,
you guys all know that I answered it to the best of anybody's ability.
No, I do not know. There were so many things that, like,
I hate
No.
Was it on
everything.
DS?
Yeah, technically.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was on DS.
yeah, it
Yeah.
said so. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that it was on
Guitar
Hero on
anything
tour.
except like PS2.
Well,
I played it on the Wii, so I do remember.
you guys,
that.
I went super easy last time, so now I had to go a little harder this time.
Well, to be fair, we're 2 and 2. We got them both right. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
We'll
We
take
did
the
get it
win.
eventually.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
never would have guessed Guitar Hero in a million years.
I was gonna guess Ace. Or, not,
Ace
it's Phoenix
Ventura?
Wright.
Or- yeah,
Yeah, Phoenix Wright, yeah.
Ace Ventura
Yeah,
had a game
yeah,
too.
And I would
Don't guess
say that
Ace
Klaus is
Ventura.
right. That Guitar Hero is, because what?
Oh, we can't get into the what is an RPG question. I hate that question.
Well, that was another one
Sucks.
because like technically there is a little bit of RPG elements to Guitar Hero, right?
But I feel like you know what an RPG is.
But I didn't think it was an actual RPG.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it an RPG.
Guitar Hero is an RPG.
Mario Tennis is an RPG.
Well,
Oh,
okay,
you're
but
wrecked.
in that case, everything's an RPG.
You're literally playing a role in the
Who's
game.
deleting messages out here?
Soups out there censoring chat.
Oh, Soups is on a roll.
Oh
Just-
my god. Wait,
Love it.
Oh shit.
I'm just watching chat. You start to slowly get
Yeah,
silence.
delete.
Nope.
Nobody's gonna be talking here pretty soon.
everybody's banned.
Okay.
Shit.
Oh, that
Well,
is too
well,
funny.
you guys are 2 for 2 in the guessing game. Give yourselves a round of applause. If it wasn't for
Hated
Pharius, you guys would have failed miserably.
100%. Never would have gotten that a
It's a-
day in my life.
I'm just saying that it's a team building exercise. We're a part of a team. We all win, regardless if they got it right on their own. Like, I don't care. We were nowhere near that, by the way. The answer
Yeah,
was
nope.
fuck.
Yeah,
Not-
you
yeah,
guys. I mean, you
not
guys
at all.
could have been
That's the game
like,
Honestly,
I played.
If you said, if anyone even asked, is it a rhythm game, and you said yes, I would have tapped out. I would have been like, I don't play these. I don't know.
I wouldn't have thought of Guitar Hero as a rhythm game, but
You guys
Yeah,
are-
I would have been like, oh, is it Rhythm Heaven or like
I almost
Yeah,
went,
Wario
and
Air
even
or
then, I would
something?
have thought of a million.
I
other
could have went
rhythm
with like Parappa the Rappa. You know, like really brought it back.
Oh no, we would have voted you off if you did that.
games. Yeah, ban the host of the show.
We're taking applications for a new host.
Yeah, new host.
Season 2, we got to restart all this all over
Gotta
again.
restart. There's only been 2 episodes.
Just like in Blue's Clues, you're going to college or something like that. We're just gonna have
Yeah, just disappear. Don't say
change the
what.
color of the guy with a different sweater or something like that.
Oh shit. All right. We'll end it there. Victory for the panel, not the chat. Sorry, chat. But thanks for coming around, hanging out with us, talking about some video games. I know some of you guys have some things coming up here shortly. You guys want to say what you got?
We got the battle royale boys contest tomorrow. Sumo and Kay are both streaming. That's gonna be really, really exciting. We got a bunch of people who are gonna be competing off stream. It's gonna be a ball. I'm really excited.
yeah, that's gonna be good stuff.
Yeah, we've got 4 solid teams that are registered. If there's more out there, let us know. We'd like to get you some team names.
Yeah.
3 battle royales against each other. It'll be
Oh,
interesting.
Twin show tomorrow as well,
show.
right beforehand.
Right. Big day tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Let's let's wish Will her early birthday. Happy birthday.
That's
Will.
true.
Yeah.
Birthday
Yeah.
Burley.
Early birthday. Yeah.
Early
I
birthday.
couldn't spit it out. But
Early birthday.
Early birthday.
Early birthday.
For Will's birthday, we're all meeting in the BPE Discord to play Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, let's go.
He's never played before. He's gonna have a blast.
Fun fact: I hate Guitar Hero. I'm
Banned.
horrible at it. Well, because I play real guitar.
Yeah.
Don't like
Gasp.
it. It's my hands want to do real guitar things, and it's especially bad because like sometimes I'll be like, I know how to play this song.
In real life, real. But,
It's the worst when you can play it in real life just fine, but in Guitar Hero you just fail.
Yeah, I loved Rocksmith. We can play Rocksmith.
oh, Rocksmith.
I like
Good
Rocksmith.
stuff,
I forgot
yeah.
all
Just
those
play actual guitars.
rhythm games that came out at like around the same time.
Yeah, it was a whole thing.
But
It was
all right,
Band Simulator.
Band Simulator. I always like the drums.
I
All
did
right.
this rock band. I loved it.
Oh, anything else going on, guys?
Oops, you got anything
I
coming
think
up?
so.
No.
No, not really. I stream tomorrow. That's it.
2 p.m. Eastern.
It's got a kid coming up.
Oh,
Mhm.
he's
That's how
being
we
called.
know.
Yeah, it's
We gotta
time.
go.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Appreciate y'all. We are going to raid out.
Already killed one out.
Cool.
Bet.
Let's go.
Got you.
Get it.
Go. Do we have a raid?
Go say hi to Serena, everybody.
Yeah. Guys, I'm gonna put this on YouTube. So if you know people that haven't checked it out, let them know it's gonna be on YouTube if they want to watch.
YouTube.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody got unbanned here, huh?
I don't know who's doing that. So we'll just get the mods under control.
Gosh.
I love
All right,
it.
bye everybody.
Bye, everybody.